and welcome back to another writing vlog from a new location. You might notice this is not how the bookshelves looked before, and this is not exactly the same background, and that's because we have moved to a new apartment in a new city in a new country. If you don't follow me on my other channel, you might not know that yet. I've also talked about it extensively on Instagram and posted a ton of stuff of our first few weeks here. But my husband and I and our two cats have moved to Montreal. We were really sad to say goodbye to New York, but we also love Montreal, and it's been a really great first few weeks. It's been nearly a month now since we made the move, and this is the first video that I'm recording and posting from the new apartment. This is actually the second time that I've recorded this intro to this video, but when I was editing myself back, I drove myself crazy because I was so like low energy and I just didn't seem excited at all the first time I recorded this. I think because I recorded it before I'd had enough coffee in the morning, so I'm like making sure that is not the case for this re-record. So I seemed really boring and unenthused, but that is not the case. So I wanted to re-record this beginning because I'm very happy to be back. I'm very happy to be in Montreal now, and I just kicked my camera stand because that's the professional that I am. It's a bit of a transition phase because basically we moved here because my husband got a really great opportunity, and as the spouse I can have a spouse visa, but I have to go through some extra steps before I can actually have work authorization. So I don't have my work permit yet. I'm still working on that, and so I have a little bit of a break between jobs, and I've decided this is a perfect opportunity to work on myself a little bit and get back into some of the things that I had kind of burned myself out on and had gotten transferred to the back burner without me wanting to or intending to. I think it's just a really great reset opportunity for me. So that's what I'm doing right now. I hope to have more videos, but also I'm focusing a lot on kind of my own self and projects. Basically, there are three things that I want to get accomplished during this transition period. One of those does not have anything to do with this channel. It has to do with working out and feeling better, just healthier, and having a bit more movement in my life, because that's something that definitely did not get priority the past few years, basically since the pandemic actually. I used to have a gym subscription pre-pandemic, and then I cut it off during the pandemic, and I just never found a good gym in New York after we moved to New York. I love Pilates, but I kind of burned myself out of that after a while because I kind of like to interchange, you know, different forms of working out and movement, and I kind of just burned myself out on the only one that I had at my disposal. So I'm working on that aspect of my life, but the other two have to do with things that I think would interest you here on this channel. Of course, the two pillars of my existence, writing and reading. So I'm going to give you a little rundown of those two goals, and then we're going to transition into a couple of writing vlog clips that I recorded just after my first writing session back in the game, and then after a really good long day of working on my book. And I think those are super interesting, so even though the timeline is slightly out of order with this being a couple days after and then those other ones, I think it's really interesting to hear what I kind of felt like after those first days. But let's talk about reading first. So the last book that I finished was King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. Sadly, as much as I love Leigh Bardugo and I love this world of the Grishaverse, I wasn't really a huge fan of King of Scars. It didn't really captivate me. I didn't really like the direction that a couple of the character arcs were going in, and I'm not actually sure I'm going to like the duology, but I do want to read the second one at one point. However, I'm taking a little bit of a break before I do that because maybe it's also just the mindset that I'm in, maybe it's just not the right mood. So I have decided to finally start the Stormlight Archive. I absolutely loved Mistborn, but the Stormlight Archive is a big series. As you can see back here on the shelf, I have these two, but the first book I have here because I have already started it. So I'm about, you want to try and estimate, gotta put my coffee down for this, this book is too big. As you can see, it's not even close to halfway. I don't even think, is this a quarter? But I've read almost 300 pages, so that gives you a bit of an idea. It is like 1,200 something, close to 1,300 pages. It's a chunky book, but I'm actually really loving it, which makes me so happy. After I read the first one, you know, we'll see. Maybe I'll want to continue right on to the second one. Maybe I'll want to break it up. With Mistborn, I specifically told myself I was going to break it up between the second and the third book, but I didn't because I loved it too much and I wanted to read more. So we will have to see. This one is much bigger though, so it's possible that once I make it through this one, I'll want to take a little break and read some smaller books in between. Working on my relationship with reading is a really important goal for me right now because one, I have a bunch of books on this shelf that I haven't read yet. I do pretty well with not overbuying, but I definitely bought more than I could read in New York. And the past few months leading up to the move and just after the move, I really just didn't read. I couldn't read. I mean, I couldn't focus. I had so much on my mind. But I really would like to not only get through some of these books that I really do want to read. I didn't buy anything that I didn't genuinely want to read. But also I want to be able to just pick up a book and enjoy it and not think too much about it. You know, reading it like a writer, but just having a bit more fun with it and doing it more lightheartedly. And now we've come to the part of the video where I talk about writing. Where to even begin? I said it's been a while since I've read, you know, sort of peacefully, but it's been even longer since I feel like I've been in a good place with my writing, and that is changing. I can already say, since I'm filming this after I've gotten back into my writing now, I can already say it is changing. It is in motion right now. I am going to write a book this year. I am going to be drafting. It's the first time that I will be first drafting for a very long time. I've been stuck in revisions of one project, and then the other project that I've been off and on brainstorming is not even outlined yet. Basically, what I'm having to do is jump back into a mess of notes and look at it from a new perspective. In the last clip you're going to see in this video, which I filmed just a couple of days ago, I talked about one thing in particular that I'm really trying to change moving forward. And it has to do with my perfectionism and something that's just really gotten me stuck. But for whatever reasons, this one, as well as probably lots of others, I have been a little bit stuck with this one. I also had been working on some additional revisions to my Finnish novel, one of several, but the most recent Finnish novel that I like the most. And I would like to return to revisions because I still do really like the story, and there's definitely a lot more I want to do with it. But I think right now, with me being so rusty, having this new sort of perspective, this new mindset, coming to Montreal, having a bit of a reset and a transition period right now, I think this is the best time to go for that other one. Do the brainstorming, the outlining, the real creative sort of project. A lot more freedom, basically, is what I'm looking for right now. And revisions is a lot less freedom and a lot more precision. And I think precision right now is what's killing me. I think it's actually what's stopping me from working on new stuff and from making progress. So I have a little bit more of a fire, I have a bit more energy, and I'm devoting it to that other project. And I really, really need to draft. I have not written a first draft in such a long time. I miss it. I don't feel fulfilled. Even if the revisions are going really well with that other book, it's just not the same when you haven't sat down and just gotten to free write in such a long time. I mean, it's not really free writing because I'm an outliner, but you know, there's a big difference between planning or revising or perfecting and actually just getting to write a scene and create something out of nothing, or out of a very like thin outline. So the goal is to define my world, my setting, my characters. It's not really brainstorming at this point. I'm past that phase, I think, but just defining it now. I have sometimes 1, 2, or 3 ideas for something. Now it's picking the idea I'm gonna go with and, you know, running with it. And of course, the most important right now is the outline, a plot. I need a plot. I have lots and lots of ideas, but I need to pull them all together, give it a structure, define everything, and then start writing. Because of course, as I write, things will change, things will adjust, but I really need to know where I'm going. I absolutely cannot start this book if I don't know where I'm going with it. So that's the plan. That is what I'm gonna be doing for the next few weeks. I'm gonna need lots of coffee. I have a funny feeling. Thankfully, I have an espresso machine now. So now I have a pitcher coffee maker and an espresso machine, thanks to my parents for the best housewarming gift ever. And I'm drinking it in one of my favorite cups ever, if it will just focus on the cup. This is also, I think, from my parents. Basically, all of the coffee in this video is sponsored by my parents. So thank you to my parents for always supporting my coffee obsession. I'm gonna stop babbling now, and I'm gonna transition you into a couple of clips that I recorded just after some writing sessions. So if I'm a little bit low energy, I actually have a reason to be in those because I had just written for like several hours, actually, I think both times. Enjoy the video. Just wanted to give you a little close-up on these bookshelves because I absolutely love how they turned out. This is mostly my side over here, and then I have a little bit of stuff also on this side because I have more things than my husband does. This shelf is pretty much all of his, like his French literature and all of that there. Some more classics kind of grouped in with those. Here I have some of my notebooks and my pop figurines and some other little trinkets and stuff. Over here I have my Shakespeare books from the Globe. Of course, Office Ladies. I love that podcast and I'm obsessed with The Office, you guys will probably know. Down here I have Morgana, Is She Not Amazing? This is from League of Legends. In this corner I have a little painting by my younger sister of Hamlet and Bingley. So cute. Transitioning here to my Taylor Swift shrine and all of the albums. Of course, this one is not related. This is Michael Bublé. This is the only non-Taylor Swift CD, like physical CD that I have. The only thing I'm missing here in this collection are the Taylor's version, which I do want to get all of those as well. Any old school Swifties remember this one? her holiday album. Yeah, that's the level of obsessed that I have been for a very long time with Taylor. Down here I have basically 3 shelves of my books. They're more or less organized by category. So this is mostly my favorite adult books, basically. This is most of my favorite YA books. And then this is a bit of a mix of both. We'll actually have some middle grade and stuff as well in there. A little bit of a mix, basically, of the stuff that didn't fit on these shelves. So there you have it. There are the bookshelves, and I am super, super happy with how they turned out. All right, it is a little bit later now. It's after lunch. I have done some work on my book. I can't really say writing because I haven't actually been doing writing, but I've been working on my novel. It is much harder to get back into it than I expected. I always do this every time I take a break, and it's only like 1 in 5 times that it comes back naturally, in the sense that I have to like figure out where I left off, and I can't quite remember. Like, I'll usually remember one of the ideas that I had, but I couldn't remember if I decided to go this way or this way, and I have to kind of muddle through my notes, and my notes are very messy for this one. I did not do a very good job at staying organized. Anyway, I have been going back through all of my various notes, trying to figure out what I like and don't like, and kind of where I left off on things. Also writing down some really interesting new ideas and things I want to accomplish. Focusing on character, although I have probably focused a little bit more on plot than I intended to today, but it is kind of necessary to remember what I had with my plot, and what kind of works and doesn't work based on the direction I want to go now. It doesn't feel like I've made a lot of progress, but I really do think I have, because sitting here right now, even though I feel like I haven't really taken too many steps forward, I feel like I'm standing in my story, if that makes sense. Whereas before it was like, getting back into writing is just this other thing, and it's gonna be so difficult. And now I feel like, okay, I remember where I left off. And I also had a couple of really interesting ideas of what I want my characters to sort of focus on, the tone of their chapters. I have definitely made some progress. Again, even if it doesn't feel like it, I know that I have made progress. So I'm gonna do my workout, and then hopefully read a little bit, start my Stormlight Archive journey probably this afternoon. And I'm kind of gonna keep my story in the back of my mind, especially while I'm working out and while I'm like showering afterward and stuff, because I think if I just kind of let it marinate a little bit, even if I don't necessarily come back and do another brainstorming or you know, working session this afternoon, I think if I just kind of let it stew, it'll be more productive than the marinating and the stewing that I have been doing for months and months and just haven't been working on the project. Because now I'm back in it. Like, I actually feel like I know what I'm doing, like this much at least, like a little bit more. I feel like I have some solid ground, you know, that I'm standing on now, instead of just kind of having it always in the background of my mind at all times and getting ideas here and there but not remembering if they're gonna piece in well. I'm so happy to be back. I mean, I have felt like with like this, you know, and like all my writer things around me, I have felt so imposter syndrome, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's imposter syndrome. I felt like an imposter. Like, I can't call myself a writer because I have not been writing. And it's not true anymore. I feel like I have ideas that are ready to be put to good use, creative energy that's just ready to go, and has been sort of just living right beneath the surface for a long time. So I'm excited. Hi again. It has been a few days now since I recorded those last clips, but I just wanted to come on here and wrap up this vlog with a very good writing day. Basically, I have been going through all of my notes, and I've known for a long time that I have a bunch of scattered like notes here and there where I had ideas, I wrote them down, I maybe highlighted them or said I'd come back to them, but there was a lot of mixed information kind of floating around my documents. And I started this morning by realizing that for some reason, the app that I have been using for years and years to like have a notebook and, you know, various notes for all of my different tabs and stuff, it's called Evernote. I've been using it for years, but they're adding a paywall, so I can no longer add new notes and do a lot of the changes that I need to make. So I took this opportunity to do something that I've been wanting to do and needing to do for a long time, and that's to take all of my notes, my backstory, my character, you know, sketches, outlines, whatever, setting outlines, all of that stuff, and move it into my Scrivener document. I had filmed an entire vlog when I got Scrivener, and I started editing it and everything. So I actually have a video when I got Scrivener, and I just never edited it and posted it because I didn't really like it. That's a whole thing that I went through last year. I have like a bunch of unedited videos, basically vlogs, that I just never put together, and that is one of them that my perfectionism stopped me from actually editing. But I have Scrivener now, and I was using it before to work on revisions of my last project, but I really want to use it to actually try writing a first draft for this project. So all day today, I have been moving my notes over, and as I'm doing it, I'm going through the things that maybe I have 2 or 3 different ideas for the same, you know, backstory, and I've been basically making decisions. A huge thing that I've realized that is, I think, my biggest problem, honestly, with why I cannot jumpstart this project, why I cannot get it off the ground, is because I am being way too perfectionist, basically, about where I want it to go. Every time I have an idea for this should be the end plot, or this should be the goal, or this should be what happens, or the story structure, or anything like that, just any big decision that greatly affects the plot, I've sat there and thought, but is it perfect? Is it the right way? Is it cliche? Has it been done before? Will it feel too much like this? Will it, you know, cause problems with pacing? Like things that, why am I thinking about this right now? Obviously, it's important to think about those things to some extent. And if, you know, something really seems like a bad idea, it might be a bad idea. But I think I'm just getting way too bogged down in fear, honestly, that it's gonna be lame, or it's gonna be cliche, or it's gonna be derivative of something. Nothing feels good enough. That's a huge problem. It does not feel good enough. Compared to what? I don't know. I think I'm just giving myself completely unrealistic expectations for what a story can even be, because all the stories that I'm reading, I've been reading more, that's been so helpful. I'm just realizing that when you boil it down, some of these things are very simple. The plots maybe are a bit simple, or a character storyline or a character arc may be simple on paper, but it's how you tell it and how you bring the reader along the journey. And I know that, like factually I know it, but when I'm trying to plot now, I mean, this isn't a problem I've always had, but it's definitely one that I've faced with the outlining of this book. I just get so in my head. So all this to say that I've been making decisions today. I'm gonna make myself a decisive person. I have to put my foot down. And honestly, if it's lame, or if I decide actually that's a terrible idea, or actually that doesn't fit the character, or doesn't fit the story, or doesn't work for whatever reason, I can change it. I don't want to have to rip apart my story in edits, but I'm probably gonna do it anyway, like, let's be real, because I'm gonna have epiphanies along the way, as you do, and it's not that big of a deal, and I do like editing, so I don't know why I'm trying to save myself so much trouble in editing when I actually enjoy that process. So I've been making all kinds of decisions today. I'm a new writer. I'm moving forward. I've been working just sort of haphazardly, not really haphazardly, but I've been sort of jumping to different things whenever I get a good idea, or whenever I need to kind of a little bit of a break from one thing. So I've been doing world building, I've been doing lore a little bit, I've been doing geography. Of course, I've been doing character. I've been doing a lot of backstories for both characters who are in the story and also characters whose backstories influence the characters in the story, if that makes sense. I still definitely don't feel like I have a plot done by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been doing so much groundwork, and I don't feel like I've been losing myself on Wikipedia research sprees. I don't feel like I've been losing myself in details and, you know, things that are not important. I feel like everything I've done today has been like directly important to my story, and that is such a good feeling. And it's been a long time since I've had that feeling. So yeah, back on track, feeling great. Let's see if I can actually write a book this year. Oh my gosh, a first draft. It's been so long, and I'm so excited about the idea of actually just getting to put words on a page, finally, after so much brainstorming and thinking and outlining and backstory and world building and all of that. I just want to write some words. I want to write some pretty words. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you give the video a like if you enjoyed this writing vlog. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. I will definitely be doing some more writing vlogs, as well as reading updates and stuff like that to come. I hope you're doing well. Let me know in the comments below how your writing projects are going. Also, let me know if you have tried Scrivener, or if you use Scrivener, or if there's something else that you prefer, because I'm definitely loving it so far. I have maybe hit some limits or some things that maybe it can't do already, or maybe I just haven't figured out how to do them. Probably the second one. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon in another writing video.